Welcome back to BESTERNS 2017. Everybody, Mr. Clitter on a mic, on a broadcast. Thank you so much for joining us at the stream that the Rocky Mountain Roller Girls are putting together here from Foothills Fieldhouse in Denver, Colorado. We are getting ready for our first semifinal bout that will bring a conclusion to the tournament. It's Sac City from Sacramento, California. The Capital Punishers really have been the Cinderella story of the tournament. They came in ranked number 63 in the WFTDA rankings. Two big wins yesterday against Kansas City and No Coast have put them in the semifinal against Arizona Roller Derby's Tent City Terrors, who came in ranked number 30th, or ranked 30th in WFTDA standings, the second seed in the tournament. They were actually the only favored team to actually come out on top yesterday out of the 7 bouts that we had. So Arizona has only skated once this weekend. This will be the third time that Sac City takes the track. The winner, because this is a semifinal, the winner will be in the final tomorrow evening, which would be at 5 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. I'm going to run through a quick bit of rosters while we still have a couple minutes to go before that first whistle. Arizona is going to be wearing their dark jerseys, their black trimmed with the pink. They got number 16, Coots. They've got number 17, Don't Blink. 175 is Chocolate. 313, West Coast Mafia. 317, Block and Decker. Number 38, Colette Razorcat. 45, Ammunitia. 56, D's Nuts. 5000, Stashbot. 67, Helen Wheels. 79, Calica. Number 8, Lynette Zurich. Number 9, Jess West. And number 924 is Loose Chaos. Sac City Rollers will be wearing their blue uniforms, trimmed with the black and the orange. Their roster looks like this. Number 10, Annie Rexick. Number 1006, Nail Her Swift. Number 1013, Red Tornado. 117 is She-Ra. Number 12, Devastator. 1492 is Conquistadorable. 15, Whiplash. Number 1985 is Con Artist. 243, Slapaho. 279, Spankenstein. 503, Enemy of the State. 51, Purdy Girl. Number 6, Beastie Toys. And 69 is Quickfire. We have about 75 seconds to go before our first whistle. The team that does not win still plays on. They'll play tomorrow at 3 p.m. in kind of the consolation match. The silver medal, bronze medal game, if that's what you want to call it. This is now the 13th bout in 2 days here at the Foothills Fieldhouse. We still have one more coming on. After this, at 8 p.m., the second semifinal bout will take place with the Rocky Mountain Roller Girls 5280 Fight Club squaring off against the Jet City Bombers. Jet City, another bit of a surprise for the weekend. Another one of those lower seeds beating a higher seed, working their way up into the semifinal match. We're kind of in that calm before the storm, just about 20 seconds before we blow the whistle and then get everybody lined up. Coming into BESTERNS, Sac City had a 2-2 record. Arizona 2-2 as well. Sac City obviously improved with their 2 victories yesterday. Arizona with a victory yesterday as well. So Arizona now 3-2 in the WFTDA sanctioned bouts. Sac City 4-2. We're going to start things off with Luz Chaos wearing the star for Arizona, squaring off against Whiplash for Sac City. Luz Chaos bumped off on the outside part of turn 1 on a no pass, no penalty. Declared lead jammer and continues on, so your first lead call of the bout goes to Arizona. Whiplash still struggling through at turn 2. Luz Chaos absolutely no resistance, and that is the first 5 points for the Tent City Terrors. Luz going low, going outside, one skate, turning backwards. You know how she does, and the result is another 5 points. Arizona, hot start. A couple of quick penalties on Sac City also have not helped with 2 blockers in the penalty box. Luz Chaos already has pretty good success. You take 2 blockers out of her path, and that's going to make it a little bit more easy. The Arizona defense playing tough. A star pass initiated and completed. Now Con Artist wearing the star for Sac City as Luz Chaos, 1 more pass, 4 more points. And a tap of the hips. Arizona with a big statement in jam number 1, 19-0. Jam number 2 is going to feature Enemy of the State and Stashbot on the line. Got an empty penalty box, so it's going to be 5-on-5 action. Both jammers try to squeeze through that outside path and then cut back inside. Stashbot bumped off on the inside. Does not have to recycle back because the blocker who bumped her off also left the track. So Stashbot is the first through but not declared lead. Lead jammer actually went to Sac City, and wisely done by Enemy of the State, calling things off before Arizona can score any points. 0-0 frame. Jam number 2. Hey, no points scored during that jam. Next jam, twice as many. I'll let you do the math on that. Slapaho jamming for the first time this bout. Didn't see Slapaho jamming at all yesterday, so first time this weekend. On the other side, West Coast Mafia wearing the star for Arizona. And it's going to be a penalty against West Coast Mafia. Looks like a forearm being called, giving a power opportunity to Slapaho and Sac City. Slapaho through on the backstretch. Your lead jammer wearing a blue jersey. Fast-moving pack is Slapaho with a nice little hop, skip, and a jump on the inside part of turn 3, putting 5 up top for Sac City. West Coast Mafia released from the penalty box, looking to engage the pack. Pack kind of spread out along the backstretch. Slapaho bumped off on the back end of the backstretch. Recycles back just about to turn 2 to rejoin the action. West Coast Mafia getting through on the initial pass, so eligible for points. Slapaho knows that. Knows that Mafia was coming around the corner, so a quick tap of the hips will get Sac City on the board. They win the frame 5-0. Check that, 9-0. So it is 19-9 with 26 minutes and counting here in the first half. We got an official timeout. We've got some track repair to do. It looks like the jam line getting tore up during that last bit of action. So Arizona riding a very hot jam number 1, scoring 19 points. Jam number 2 ended up being scoreless. Jam number 3 was all Sac City, 9-0. 26-12 in the first half, 19-9 in favor of the skaters from Phoenix. If you're just joining us, Arizona is wearing their dark jerseys, the black trimmed with the pink. Sac City wearing the blue jerseys trimmed with the orange. BESTERNS Day 3 action is going to start bright and early, 9 a.m. Actually, that's going to give me an extra hour to sleep because we've been starting at 8 a.m. the past couple of days. My dogs will be happy. I'll get to take them for a walk. But we've got 5 bouts, 9, 11, 1, 3, and 5. That 3 p.m. bout is our third place bout. That 5 p.m. bout, Mountain Standard Time, is our championship. Winner of this bout will be in that championship against the winner of our last bout tonight, which is Jet City and Rocky Mountain. Head ref taking a quick look at the track repairs. Running over, having a quick conversation with the crew in charge of repairing said track. Looks like we're going to have one more adjustment before we get going again. When we do get going, I can tell you that Sac City is going to have Naylor Swift wearing the star on the jam line, and Luz Chaos going to be back out there for Arizona. Yeah, it looks like the head ref just was not quite happy with the repair job. I think I can see why, because if you just put a small piece of tape over the tear that we had at the jam line, it would just be a matter of seconds before that repair comes undone. So we're going to put a big, thick piece of clear tape all the way across the track. That ought to take care of it. Seeing Don Scorleone nod his head in approval. That's going to get us back to work. Nobody hanging out in front of me in the penalty box, so we've got 5-on-5 on the track. That whistles the end of our official timeout, and now Naylor Swift and Luz Chaos squaring off. Sac City very, very close to the jam line. Arizona's got their blockers set up, about 5 feet past that. Naylor Swift goes outside, cuts back on the inside real quick. Luz Chaos pushing on that inside, getting absorbed really quickly by the Sac City defenders. Naylor Swift, turn 1, lead jammer 4. The Capital Punishers. Luz Chaos out pretty soon thereafter, so everybody is going to collide at turn 1. Oh, penalty called on Naylor Swift, and that is going to give a power opportunity to Arizona and Luz Chaos. Also, Sac City is going to be down a blocker as Conquistador hanging out in the sin bin. So only 3 blockers out there to try to kill the penalty and defend against Luz Chaos. That is a big, big task to ask. We're going to skate. I was going to say we're going to skate 2 full minutes, but I take that back. Luz Chaos has been determined to be your lead jammer. I was mistaken. I thought that was given to Naylor Swift. Luz Chaos going on the outside. Just what can you say? That's another 5-point grand slam. Naylor Swift penalty expires, and so we now have 2 jammers on the track. Luz Chaos goes inside this time. And it's going to be a 4-point tally as Naylor Swift on that initial pass, now eligible for points. Luz Chaos surveys the pack in front, makes the connection with the pack just at the jam line, taps those hips, and the action is going to come to a halt. Sac City's going to manage to squeeze out 1 point on the aggressive play by Naylor Swift, but all in all, it's going to be a 19-1 victory during that jam by Arizona. So looking at the scoreboard, Luz Chaos has scored 100% of her team's points, all 38 in 2 jams. 24, 24, and counting, 38-10, and the announcer's curse just takes place. They added 3 more, so it's 41-10 in favor of Arizona. Stash Bot on the line for Arizona, and it's going to be Whiplash wearing the star for Sac City. Stash Bot bumped off twice really quickly on the outside. And then Purdy Girl doing a great job causing the track cut on Stash Bot. Sometimes they're mistakes by the jammer, sometimes they're mistakes created by the blocker. Purdy Girl doing a fantastic job causing that cut. Power opportunity for Sac City, and Arizona is going to be down a blocker as well, as Helen Wheels hanging out with Stashbot in the box. Lead jammer established by Whiplash. The pack's moving pretty fast around turn 4. It kind of comes to a halt there with a couple of Arizona blockers leaving the track. Whiplash then has very little resistance and goes through the pack like foreign water goes through a tourist. That's going to be 5 points for Sac City, and here comes a rally from the skaters from California. Whiplash this time hits the pack at turn 1, gets spun around on the inside part, and a tap of those hips is going to put 3 more on the board for the Sac City Rollers, bringing their grand total to 18 points, 41-18. We skated just about 7 minutes. We've got West Coast Mafia on the line for Arizona. Enemy of the State down in the star for Sac City. West Coast Mafia right up the middle at turn 1. There's your lead jammer. Arizona has controlled that statistic more or less for the entire weekend. If you can do that, that usually points to good things for your team. Enemy of the State fighting through, gets bumped off on the inside part of turn 1, and it's determined to be a track cut on Enemy of the State. It was a close one. I think Enemy of the State thought that the blocker who bumped her off also left the track. Turns out that was not the case, so it's going to be a power opportunity for Arizona and West Coast Mafia. West Coast going on the inside part of turn 4. That's going to be 5 points. A quick tap of the hips is going to take this penalty, roll it over, and make a power start for Arizona. And Arizona is going to send Luz Chaos out there in that power opportunity. Annie Rexick, your blocker for Sac City, also hanging out in the penalty box. So it's going to be a 4-3 pack advantage for Arizona, in addition to the power start. Luz Chaos, lead jammer between turns 1 and 2. Pack's going to set up at turn 1. Luz Chaos always looking so controlled. She looks calm, controlled, looks like she's got a solution for anything that gets put in front of her on the track. Dancing around all of the blockers at turn 1, gets bumped off on the inside part between turns 1 and 2. Enemy of the State serves her penalty, gets through the pack, and is now eligible for points. Sac City doing a great job containing Luz Chaos. Luz putting 5 on the board before it's called off, but considering what kind of damage Luz Chaos has done in her previous jams, that's quite an improvement for Sac City's defense. 51-18, 20 minutes and counting here in the first half. Chocolate is going to wear the star for the first time during this bout for Arizona, squaring off against Slapaho, making her second jam. Hey, Slapaho, like a lightning bolt through that pack. Sac City, you have command of the action. You also have a power opportunity. Check that back. Chocolate called back onto the track. Originally, I thought we had a penalty called on Chocolate, but it's going to be Slapaho cruising through amidst the chaos for 5 points. Arizona's got penalties piling up. They have 3 blockers in the box, so Sac City can take advantage of the extra real estate. They're going to win this frame. They hold Arizona scoreless. Currently, they're showing 5 points being awarded during that jam by Sac City. I think there are going to be more. There we go. There are a few more tacked on there. It's going to be a 9-0 victory for Sac City. 51-27, 19 minutes and counting here in the first half. Stash spot back on the line for Arizona. And we've got Naylor Swift back out there for Sac City. The pack advantage is for Sac City. Oh, big hit on Stash spot right before turn 1. That's going to be Devastator with a big shoulder-to-shoulder hit, allowing Naylor Swift to grab that lead call for Sac City with a hop over turn 1. Naylor Swift makes that scoring pass look so fancy. It's going to be 5 points. And then instead of trying to catch Stashbot, who was right in front of her, she just taps those hips, calls a halt to the action. Great energy now by Sac City. We're going to have West Coast Mafia and Whiplash dueling it out. 4-on-3 advantage for Sac City pack-wise. Whiplash starts outside, makes her way inside, and Sac City's got something rolling. They are in command of the jam, grabbing lead. West Coast Mafia going outside and finding a seam at turn 1 and is now eligible for points as Whiplash goes right up the middle at turn 1, putting 4 on the board, tapping those hips. And Sac City on a bit of a rally here in the last few jams. .17.5 remain in the first half. 51-35, Sac City, after a bit of a slow start, making things very interesting. Just 16 points now separate the two squads. Enemy of the State. Check that, enemy of the state wearing the star for Sac City, and Luz Chaos back out there for Arizona. Luz Chaos right up the middle. At about the pivot line, grabs that lead status. It's going to be a power jam for Luz Chaos in Arizona as enemy of the state heads to the box. Somehow, someway on those toe stops, Luz Chaos stayed on the track and puts 5 up top. Luz Chaos getting some help from D's Nuts, her blocker. I always like it when those blockers get involved in the action. D's Nuts gets the assist on that 5-point tally. D's Nuts, however, pays the price with another penalty, so a trip to the sin bin she will take. As enemy of the state's penalty had expired, got through the pack, and that was Luz Chaos's cue to call things off. It's going to be a 13-point victory during that chapter for Arizona. 64-35, just under 16 to go in the first half. Stashbot and Slapaho have the stars for their respective squads. Arizona down a blocker with D's Nuts hanging out in the penalty box. Slapaho getting some help from her blocker, but unfortunately that blocker opened up a seam for Stashbot on the inside. Arizona commands a jam with the lead status. Stashbot received a signal from Block and Decker and then attacks that pack. Couldn't quite finish that play, so the call-off happens, but not before Sac City rallies and wins the jam 4-3, even though Arizona had lead. Naylor Swift, West Coast Mafia. 5-on-5 derby. I like that we're back to that. Naylor Swift tiptoeing on the inside, couldn't quite maintain her position on the track. Gets called on a track cut, actually, so this is going to be a power opportunity for Arizona. Let's see if West Coast Mafia can take advantage of it. Sac City's done a pretty good job all weekend long of killing penalties. West Coast Mafia bumped off at turn 3, so Sac City continues that good penalty kill work that we have seen in the last day or so. West Coast Mafia back on the track, attacking the pack at turn 4, gets bumped off on the inside part, hops back to work, trying to find a seam on the outside now, has a 3-wall of Sac City defenders that bump her off on the inside part of turn 4. That 3-wall currently being led by Beastie Toys. Naylor Swift getting through the pack, got tripped up by Chocolate. No argument there as well. So Chocolate goes to the penalty box. A little bit of extra real estate now. Sac City's defense continuing to do a fantastic job against West Coast Mafia. Still camped out at turn 4. Not a lot of room that they are giving at all. Naylor Swift, after the penalty, gets bumped off on the inside part of the front stretch and then has to recycle back between turns 3 and 4. On the other side, Arizona has passed that star. Jess West, now your jammer of record for Arizona, as Naylor Swift makes a scoring pass, and Sac City getting 4 on the board. We are going to go the full 2 minutes as our lead jammer passed the star cover over to the pivot. Sac City doing a phenomenal job of killing the penalty that Naylor Swift had at the beginning of the jam and then continuing that effort through. So their jammer serves the penalty, gets out of the box, flies through the pack, and Sac City wins the jam 12-3. 12 and a half minutes remain here in the first half. 70-51 in favor of Arizona. If you're just joining us, once again, Arizona's wearing the black jerseys trimmed in the pink. Sac City with the blue jerseys trimmed in orange. A little bit more track repair this time to the pivot line. I think we're going to go ahead and take that same approach. Repair the little piece with the yellow tape, and then go the entire length with the clear stuff. While they're doing that, I want to remind you it's not going to be too much longer before we are in the thick of playoffs. The weekend of August 18th, that's 18th through 20th, Division II playoffs and championships take place in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. It's going to be hosted by Steel City Roller Derby. And in September 1st through 3rd is the first leg of the Division I playoffs in Seattle, Washington, hosted by Rat City. The next leg will be September 8th through 10th in Malmo, Sweden, hosted by Crime City Rollers, and the 22nd through 24th is the last leg of the playoffs in Dallas, Texas, hosted by the Dallas Derby Devils. That all leads us to Division I championships, which will be November 3rd through 5th in Philly, hosted by the Philly Roller Derby organization. I can't wait for everybody that I know, and probably you, to be glued to some kind of device if they aren't able to make any of those trips, just to find out how everything is progressing.
So we have heard that the challenge is asking for a cutting penalty.
In addition to some track repair, we're going to have an official challenge that Arizona is looking for. Looks like they want a track cut during that last frame. We've got everybody in stripes and pink shirts huddled in the middle of the track trying to figure out if there's enough evidence to overturn the call that was made on the track. We will know momentarily whether or not Arizona wins or if everything stands as it was.
Getting back to this year's record for these teams, Sac City defeated Beattown with a fill by
in the bag on the chair.
Oklahoma victory loss. So the teams are being informed of the outcome of the review at this moment, and that is completed. We'll relay that information to you.
Oh.
And that now has been completed.
One guy.
There is no warning and bill by the PC has struck out. So that review for Arizona is not retained.
All right, it looks like the whistle will end the official. I see two jammers on the track, so Arizona's going to lose their challenge. There will not be a penalty assessed to any Sac City jammers. We're going to have Whiplash and Lose Chaos on the line, 5-on-5 derby. Whiplash taking that 4 wall, trimming it down to a 3 wall here at the pivot line, then trying to use some lateral movement to overcome. Lose Chaos in the meantime on the outside, just a hop, skip, and a jump, grabbing that lead status. Whiplash dancing around turn 2. Block and Decker going to the penalty box for Arizona. Lose Chaos just cruising through on the outside like a casual Sunday drive for 5 points. And the Tent City Terrors getting some momentum going back their way. Whiplash out of the pack, looking for points. Lose Chaos engages the pack at turn 3. And then after that engagement, pops to the outside real quick, and that's a 4-point tally for Arizona. All kinds of movement going on in the pack. Lots of separation. The perfect conditions for a Lose Chaos storm. And a quick little shoulder move, a quick little hip wiggle. And one more pass is going to put 4 more on the board for Arizona. So the final tally during that episode, 13-4 in favor of Arizona. Enemy of the state, Stash Spot on the line. Arizona's got Conquistadorable on the hook for a penalty, so we have 4 Arizona blockers, 3 Sac City blockers. Stash Spot using those toe stops outside with a good hop, and she is your lead jammer. Enemy of the state facing a little friendly fire just past the jam line. He's got to bounce back to work and then start navigating through the pack at turn 1. On the other side, Stash Spot gets muscled off the track, but the blocker who did so also left the track, so no recycling needed there. Stashbot on a no pass, no penalty, calls it off. It's going to be a 4-point tally for Arizona. West Coast Mafia, lead jammer, Arizona. Sac City working their way back to help out their jammer. Try to get Slapaho through. Slapaho does just that, gets through with some help. As West Coast Mafia makes that scoring pass, doesn't quite get through everyone, I believe. So yeah, just 2 Sac City defenders were passed by Slapaho. 2 points for Arizona, but hey, you put enough pennies in the piggy bank, eventually they add up to something that'll pay big dividends. We're right at the 9-minute mark in the first half, 89-55 in favor of Arizona. Loose Chaos donning the star for Arizona. Naylor Swift back out there for Sac City. Sac City doing a good job initially on this jam with a good 3-wall that Loose Chaos trying to push her way through. Naylor Swift not having much luck herself. A little bit further progression on the track. But Loose Chaos busts through. Gets bumped off on the outside part between turns 1 and 2. A couple of penalties ensue, and Loose Chaos is able to bust on through without recycling back. So both jammers out. Naylor Swift hot on the tail of Loose Chaos as the pack moving really fast, coming around turn 3, approaching turn 4. Everybody trying to get to that front part. After a full day of skating and at altitude, I'm sure that's exactly what all these skaters want to see, is everybody running away from them. Loose Chaos taps the hips, 0 points tallied for either squad. BC Toys sent to the box for Sac City, so it's going to be a 4-3 advantage for the Tent City Terrors with Stashbots donning the star. And then we've got Whiplash going back to work for Sac City. Stashbot was skating with Wasatch last time we had Besterns last year. Now wearing the black and pink. Fighting her way, fighting so hard. Had that wall trimmed down to 1 lone defender at turn 2, and Stashbot is your lead jammer. Jess West for Arizona goes to the penalty box. On the flip side, Annie Rexick also joining for Sac City. Block and Decker for Arizona sitting in the sin bin. So Arizona only with 2 blockers out there. But when you command the jam with lead status, it makes it a little bit easier to kill those penalties. The Stashbot makes a scoring pass for 5. Whiplash now through on her initial pass and eligible for points as Stashbot crashes into the 2-wall that meets her just past the jam line. Whiplash bumped off in the inside part of turn 1. Chocolate and Jess West in on that contact. Stashbot called on a penalty. And now we're going to flip the coin. Power opportunity for Sac City. 2-minute jam coming because Stashbot was our lead jammer. Whiplash looks absolutely exhausted. Arizona loses Chocolate to a penalty as well. Sac City blockers trying to pave the way for their jammer. She-Ra with a big shoulder put into an Arizona blocker on the backstretch. Star pass initiated and completed. Smart move there. Quickfire now wearing the star for Sac City. Whiplash looked very, very tired, so that star pass was just what the doctor ordered. Stashbot served her penalty, gets through for 4 points. Quickfire makes a pass, and that is going to be, looks like 5 points for Sac City as the 2-minute clock expires. A Official timeout will stop the clock with 5 minutes, 36 seconds in the first half. Arizona 102, Sac City 70. Looks like we're going to clarify some stuff on the scoreboard, so I may be adjusting that update. When we do get back to work, Sac City has one blocker, that's Shira, in the penalty box. Arizona's got two, so there will be an advantage, at least in the pack, for Sac City when that whistle blows. Enemy of the State's already down on the star, hanging out at the jam line, ready to go to work. It will be West Coast Mafia for Arizona. And there is an adjustment to the score thus far. With 5:36 remaining, it's 98-70 in favor of Arizona. So 28 points separate the two squads. It's like possibly just a miscommunication on which team got credited some points, because when I first read the score, Arizona had been over the century mark. Now they've been backed down to the 98 marker. Having worked that scoreboard with all the stuff going on, it's definitely not unfeasible to have that poor scoreboard operator hit the wrong key for the wrong team and credit 4 or 5 points the wrong direction. But we've got a crew of experts here. We're just going to huddle up, get it all squared away, and we'll get back to work ASAP. Just a reminder, at 8 p.m., we've got one more bout coming your way to close out day number 2 of BESTERNS 2017. That bout features Jet City against the host league, the Rocky Mountain Roller Girls. The winner of this bout that we're watching now and that bout at 8 p.m. will play for the championship at 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time tomorrow. If you can't make it here to Denver to watch that action, you can certainly pick it up on the stream that you've got now. The Rocky Mountain Roller Girls YouTube channel has been streaming BESTERNS 2017 all weekend long. I know not just myself, but anybody who's been on the broadcast would love any kind of feedback. Trying to make this event just as good as possible. We're going to make it even better next year, so you can certainly add to that. Official timeout. Whistle has blown. 98-70. We're going to leave that adjustment. Still 5.5 minutes to go in the first half. As I said, enemy of the state with the star for Sac City and a switch on the jam side for Arizona. It's going to be Choke Yalate out there instead of West Coast Mafia. Enemy of the state bust through right away. Lead jammer Sac City. Choke Yalate bumped off on the outside part of the front stretch. Enemy of the state bumped off on the inside part on her first scoring pass, but gets back to work this time though. Bumped off again. Don't blink has been the defensive stance that Arizona was looking for. And it's only going to be a 4-point tally for Sac City. It really looked like that had a jam that could potentially be much, much bigger. But Don't Blink did a very good job with that individual effort on the jammer. Really mitigated the damage. Both squads with a blocker in the penalty box. When the whistle blows, Slapaho with the star for Sac City. Luz Chaos back out there for Arizona. Luz Chaos tiene la estrella en el casco. Ella es la jammer principal para Arizona. Dos bloqueadoras tienen penales para Sac City. Así que Luz Chaos pasa por el grupo. Dice que sí se puede. 5 puntos para Arizona. Una vez más, Luz Chaos pasa, marca 4 más para Arizona y esto se acabó. Solamente 3 minutos con 45 segundos. 107-74. Sorry, somebody hit the SAP button on my microphone. There's West Coast Mafia back on the line for Arizona. Gets bumped off on the inside part of turn one. It's got to recycle back to the pivot line. Beastie Toys jamming for the first time tonight for Sac City. Grabs that lead status. Beastie Toys been one of the more aggressive defenders that Sac City has had out there all weekend. Now wearing the star. And maybe there's the aggressiveness showing through with the star as a back block called on Beastie Toys. Beastie's going to join Pretty Girl in the penalty box, so a power opportunity for West Coast Mafia and Arizona. Arizona also has a 4-3 pack advantage. West Coast Mafia bumped off on the outside part of turn one. Wanted to call it off, but is not lead, so we are going to skate 2 minutes, whether West Coast Mafia wants to or not. West Coast Mafia does find that seam just about turn two, and that's going to be 5 points for Arizona. Beastie Toys serves her penalty, gets through the pack. That's going to be 4 for Sac City. Now it's all on the blocker side, seeing who can stop the opposing jammer. West Coast Mafia cruises through for 4. Beastie Toys at turn 4. Playing so physical, you can definitely see the blocker mentality brought to the jam line for Beastie Toys. A lot of jammers may have juked and jived their way around 2 blockers. Beastie Toys just put her shoulder down, trying to go Walter Payton style. Arizona doing a fantastic job meeting that aggression as Beastie Toys bumped off on the outside part of turn 1. Big collision. Pretty Girl is going to be a little slow getting up after the whistle. And with 1 minute, 15 seconds and counting, your current score is going to be 124-78 in favor of the Tent City Terrors from Arizona Roller Derby. Con Artist hanging out in the penalty box for the skaters in blue. Official timeout on the track. So with 64 seconds to go, a bit of an adjustment since I just told you the score. There's my curse, 124-82 for the Tent City Terrors. Calica also hanging out in the penalty box for Arizona, so when the whistle does blow, we're going to have a 3-on-3 pack. We've had lots and lots of penalties in the first half on blockers, not a lot of jammer penalties. But it seems like anytime there has been a jammer penalty, the opposing team has managed to take full advantage of that scenario. Alrighty, after discussion, Beastie Toys going back to the penalty box. And Beastie Toys was your jammer doing that last jam, so the Arizona Tent City Terrors are going to get a power start when that whistle blows. Stashbot wearing the star. Again, remember, 3-on-3 is the pack scenario. And here we go. Stashbot breaking up that pack little by little, and on the backstretch somehow stayed on her feet, stayed on the track, and establishes herself as the lead jammer. Arizona losing a blocker to a penalty. So big pack advantage for Sac City, 4-2. Penalty starting to expire now. And just about the time they expire, new ones come in. It's kind of like laundry. You know, you finish, you fold, you hang, and then next thing you know, you got to change clothes, and you got more clothes to wash. Arizona keeping a steady run of blockers through the penalty box. Quick fire blocking for Arizona, or for Sac City, is in the penalty box. Stashbot doing a great job there, making one more scoring pass. And the whistle is going to blow for halftime, your halftime score. The Arizona Roller Derby Tent City Terrors 129, the Sac City Rollers Capital Punishers 82. We've got about a 15-minute intermission. This gives you an opportunity to do what you need to do. Refreshments, stand up and stretch, get some fresh air, some sunshine. Then you can get right back here because we've got 30 more minutes of action and nothing decided while Arizona is in the lead right now. If you know roller derby, you know that lead is not safe. My name is Mr. Clitter. Once again, I'm going to take a quick break. I'll be back with you here in just a few minutes. Welcome back, Derby aficionados. We got about 2 minutes remaining in halftime of bout 13. Total for Besterns, it's going to be bout number 6 of the day. Arizona Roller Derby, Tent City Terrors 129, the Sac City Rollers, Capital Punishers 82. If you are just joining us, Tent City in their black jerseys trimmed with the pink, Sac City in the blue jerseys trimmed in the orange. Arizona jumped out to a big start, but Sac City slowly started to make some adjustments, and throughout the first half trickled back, and Arizona then did grab the momentum towards the end of the first half, and that has led us to the score that we see now. We've got about 80 seconds remaining. Get everybody in a position. Took a look at the penalties, and we didn't have anybody over 3, so wouldn't consider any of the skaters on either squad in any kind of trouble for penalties, but you never know. Could be a quick little penalty here added with an insubordination. We'll keep an eye on that, see if that plays a factor in the bout. I certainly hope not. We've had a lot of good action, a lot of clean action, and I'd hate to have something like penalties or expulsions, somebody fouling out, make a determining factor into the outcome of the bout. Both squads are going to start out with a blocker in the penalty box. Chocolate hanging out there. Wants to extend her a halftime break for Arizona. And Quickfire is going to do the same thing for Sac City. Already halftime clock has officially retired. And we are going to get going here in the 5-second mark. Enemy of the State and Lose Chaos are going to square off on the line. Here we go. Lose Chaos going on the inside, moving her way back towards the middle. Enemy of the State starting in the middle, going to the inside, and on the outside part, Lose Chaos, a little bit of a spin move, grabs the first lead call of the second half. Enemy of the State found a seam but got hit very hard. Calica on the backstretch doing a fantastic job hitting Enemy of the State off the track, and then with the presence of mind to recycle back. In the meantime, Lose Chaos just keeps things rolling Arizona's way. It's going to be her second scoring pass, so 10 points already up top for Arizona in the second half. Enemy of the State has taken the star cover off of her helmet, but gets bumped off on the outside part just past the jam line. Trying to get it over to her pivot is Enemy of the State, does just that, and now Red Tornado is your jammer of record. As Lose Chaos makes one more pass, sees that exchange of the helmet cover, and taps the hips to call it off. That is a quick 15-point tally for Arizona. Not that you always have a way to choose how to start off a half, but that's probably a pretty good way if you had to. Whiplash wearing the star for Sac City. It's Stash Bot out there for Arizona. Not a lot of room on the track because we have an empty penalty box. Stashbot muscles her way on the inside part. Lead jammer, that's 2 in a row to start off the second half for Arizona. Whiplash saw a beat on the outside path, but that was quickly taken away at turn 2. It was Coots with the hit, but Coots also left the track, so Whiplash does not have to recycle back. Whiplash back to work facing a 3-wall at turn 2. Whiplash bumped off on the inside part of turn 3. Arizona seems to have Whiplash's number in the last couple of jams that Whiplash has been out there. We saw a jam in the first half where Whiplash looked very, very tired and had it past the star. Arizona just was not giving any breathing room to her. Stashbot still muscling her way through on that backstretch. Can't get through, gets bumped off on the outside. That was Pretty Girl on that. And Stashbot has to go almost to turn 2 to recycle and rejoin. Stashbot bumped off at turn 4, calls it off. Con Artist had received the star, and that's what forced the call off. So it's going to be a 5-0 tally in favor of Arizona, 149 to 82, 27 minutes and counting here in the final frame. It's going to be Naylor Swift with the star for Sac City, and West Coast Mafia back to work for Arizona. The pack sets up at that pivot line. Naylor Swift trying the outside, just stepped off, and then comes to a skidding stop at turn 1. It's got to recycle back behind the pivot line. West Coast Mafia trying that same outside path, and then with a cut towards the middle is going to grab lead. D's Nuts was serving a penalty in the box, now released and out, ready to join the rest of her teammates as West Coast Mafia finds a path for 5. Chocolate was playing defense but was doing so pretty far away from the pack, so she will sit for 30 to think about that one. West Coast Mafia calls it off. Arizona continuing their roll to start the second half. 9-0, yet to relinquish a point to Sac City here in the second half. So we got Slapaho and Lose Chaos squaring off. Sac City with that 4-3 pack advantage, as Chocolate still serving the penalty for that out-of-play block. Lose Chaos pushing on the outside. Slapaho started in the middle, now trying the inside, but Slapaho bumped off on the inside part of turn 1. BC Toys called for a penalty for Sac City. Lose Chaos eventually finds a seam, doesn't need a lot of room, makes the most of it. Lead jammer goes to Arizona, star pass immediately. It's going to be Con Artist wearing the star for Sac City. Lose Chaos flowing through the pack, going backwards on that call off. 4 more for Arizona. .24 minutes, 21 seconds. 162 to 82 in favor of Arizona. Stashbot plowing in the center, getting bumped off, trying to plow her way through the outside, gets bumped off there. And Stashbot is going to be called on a penalty, making a power opportunity for Quickfire and Sac City. Looks like a high block called on Stashbot. Beastie Toys also called for a penalty for Sac City. Jess West joining Stashbot in the box, so Arizona in a bit of a predicament here as they have just relinquished a power jam. They also are down a blocker. Quickfire, after a length of the track, is your lead jammer, now eligible for points. Pack's going to come to some semblance of order around turn 1, where Stashbot engages after her penalty is expired. And then on the outside, Stashbot gets through and is now eligible for points. So Arizona doing a really good job of killing the penalty on Stashbot. They've yet to relinquish a point. And Quickfire calls it off as Stashbot was coming hot and heavy around the track. 0-0 jam. Perfect penalty kill for the Arizona Roller Derby Tent City Terrors.
Nothing. Apparently you speak Jamaican.
West Coast Mafia Downing Star quickly through as your lead jammer. Whiplash back out there for Sac City. Track cut called on D's Nuts. Going to sit for 30. Arizona down a blocker. Whiplash bumped off by Block and Decker in between turns 3 and 4 on the inside. Looked like a clockwise block was going to be called on her. It didn't look that way from my vantage point, but I did not have as good a view as the referees. West Coast Mafia, after an attempt to get through, calls a halt to the action. 5 more points for Arizona. Timeout called on the track by Sac City. They have yet to tally any points, so it's a good idea, I think, to call a timeout, regroup, get everybody to take a few deep breaths, concentrate on what they're doing well, make some adjustments, and come out with a different approach. Because we have skated 8.5 minutes, 21-28 remaining, 167-82 in favor of Arizona. Sac City was doing some really good things at the close of the first half. Coaching staff for Sac City just want to take a timeout, do some pep talk, and remind folks of what they were doing just a few minutes ago. Try to implement that game plan when the whistle blows again. That whistle ends our timeout. The next whistle gets us back to work. Chocolate for Arizona and Naylor Swift for Sac City. Back to work we go. Sac City's going to start off with that 4-2 pack advantage as 2 Arizona blockers still hanging out in the penalty box. Chocolate grabs lead, hits the deck, then pops back up and gets back to work. Naylor Swift recycled back to the jam line. Coots and Jess West doing a good job with Block and Decker on Naylor Swift. Chocolate looked that inside path, made it look so smooth. And it's going to be a 5-0 tally for the Tent City Terrors. My name is Mr. Clitter. I want to welcome you to BESTERNS 2017. Hopefully you've been watching the live stream all weekend long, but if you haven't, hopefully you continue to watch it for the rest of the weekend. We've got one more bout tonight. That's going to be Jet City and Rocky Mountain at 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, and then we kick things off bright and early tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. for the first of 5 bouts. The 5th bout will culminate with the championship of BESTERNS 2017. The winner of this bout that you're watching right now between Arizona and Sac City will square off against the winner of the next bout between Rocky Mountain and Jet City for our championship. Taking us back to the track, Luz Chaos, lead jammer for Arizona. Slap-a-ho jamming it out for Sac City. Luz makes 1 pass for 4, taps the hips. Fred Nuts, the coach for Arizona, making his way out central track. Makes me think that depending on what happens between the referees, he may want to review something during that last jam. Turns out not to be the case. No official timeout called, no official review called, so we're right back to work. Stashbot and Enemy of the State. Dawn of the Stars, Stashbot going outside. Stashbot engaging lead jammer status. Enemy of the State still having problems at turn 1 with a 3-wall of Tent City Terrors. Stashbot interrupted on outside of backstretch. Stashbot must re-engage at turn 2. Stashbot contact initiated. 5 points tallied for Stashbot. Also a penalty call for Sac City blocker. That's going to be quick fire. Looks like a low block is going to send her to the sin bin. Stashbot, no contact, 5 points, Arizona. Power Jam will be present now for Arizona as enemy of the state goes to the penalty box. On the other side, Stashbot getting 5 more points for Arizona. After completion of point tally, Stashbot terminate engagement cycle. 20 points for Stashbot, taking Arizona over the 2-century mark, 201 to 82. We have skated for just about 12 and a half minutes, and Sac City has been held scoreless. West Coast Mafia will have a power start as well for Sac City as enemy of the state. Still sitting in the penalty box, so at least 10 seconds remaining on that penalty. West Coast Mafia lead jammer. Helen Wheels for Arizona called for a penalty. Devastator also called for a penalty for Sac City, so both squads with a blocker in the penalty box should give some room to the jammers. Enemy of the state pushing through on the outside is now eligible for points. West Coast Mafia making a pass, tapping those hips. Birdie Girl called on a clockwise block at the very end of the jam. So Sac City will start out at a disadvantage with 2 blockers sitting in the penalty box. Whiplash and Lose Chaos. Been doing a fantastic job, both of them, and working extremely hard during this weekend. Lose Chaos recycled back. Sac City, great defense there at the pivot line. Quickfire doing the recycling. Whiplash knocked off of the inside part of the front stretch. Lose Chaos grabbing lead. All kinds of activity coming in the penalty box way. Chocolate going to sit down for a while. Red Tornado going to sit down for a while. In addition, Coots going to sit down for a while. We've got an early exit to this jam as Whiplash shaken up at the end of the action.
Which one's the music?
Official timeout on the track due to that injury. Not that the injury necessarily calls a timeout, it just takes a little bit longer to give everybody the room that they need to do the work that they need to do. When we do get back to the action, both squads are going to have 2, not 1, but 2 blockers in the penalty box. Arizona's going to have Lynette Zurich on the track. They're also going to have Don't Blink, so those are the 2 blockers out there for the Tent City Terrors. Sac City is going to go with the combination of Con Artist and Devastator. Jess West, the captain for Arizona, is actually going to wear the star. That'll be the first time today that she has worn the star on the line. And Naylor Swift is going to be back to work for Sac City. That whistle ends our timeout, so the next whistle will get us back to the action.
Yes, West starting off with the jammer star for Arizona. Number 1-0-6.
Here we go, 2-on-2 pack scenario. Jess West, Naylor Swift. Jess West on the inside, quick cut move. Big combination at the pivot line between Naylor Swift and Lynette Zurich. That's going to send Naylor Swift to the penalty box. So Jess West has a power opportunity for Arizona. Jess flying through for 5. Jess West navigating the pack. It's bumped off at turn 4. Quick tap of those hips. Tried to freeze the jammer. Didn't look like it quite happened as Naylor Swift was released from the penalty box just before the call-off. So Sac City will be able to field a jammer in the beginning of this jam. It's going to be Slabaho doing just that. And Stashbot out there for Arizona. Both jammers trying their luck right up the middle. Stashbot just keeps her legs moving and good things happen. Lead jammer for Arizona. Annie Rexick sent to the penalty box for Sac City as Stashbot, instead of strength, using finesse and agility to score 5. Star pass initiated and completed, and now Quickfire is your jammer of record for Sac City. Stashbot called on a back block, so she will go to the penalty box, meaning 2 things. We're going to skate for 2 minutes as we just lost our lead jammer, and Sac City now has a power opportunity. Quickfire getting through for 5, and that is the first tally of the second half for the Capital Punishers. Quickfire looking to add to that tally. Get some momentum and some feel-good vibes for Sac City's bench. All the attention is going to be on Quickfire, whether that's the offensive or defensive front. Annie Rexick back to the penalty box. Certainly will not help the Sac City cause. Stashbot out of the penalty box, trying to get through the pack, but goes right back. It's like another back block, I believe was the call. Extending this power opportunity for Sac City, and Quickfire with a quick move at the pivot line, and then a quick zig outside. Nice footwork at turn 2 to stay on the track, and Quickfire earning that 5 points. Two minutes expires. Stashbot still in the penalty box, although she is standing, so there'll be less than 10 seconds when we get rolling again. It's going to be a 10-10 draw during the frame. 12 minutes, 15 seconds and counting. Arizona 225, Sac City 92. Ammunition sent to the penalty box at the end of the frame for Arizona, so they're going to be down not only 1 jammer, not that you can put more than 1 out there, but they're also going to be down a blocker. Enemy of the State bumped off on the outside part by the pivot line, but the blocker who did so also left the track, so good reaction there to hop right back to work. Arizona, though, doing a great job surrounding themselves and reabsorbing Enemy of the State. As Enemy pushes along the backstretch, it is there that Sac City grabs command of the jam by becoming lead. Stashbot bumped off on the inside part of turn 4. Enemy of the State tries a pass, taps those hips. 3 points for Sac City. We have hit the 11-minute mark here in the second half. Arizona rode the momentum that they created at the end of the first half right into the second half and have really taken command in the 20 minutes that we skated since halftime. West Coast Mafia is down in the star for Arizona. It's going to be Naylor Swift out there, back to work for Sac City. West Coast Mafia representing as your lead jammer. Naylor Swift, nice little push on the inside part of turn 1, gets her through, and that is West Coast Mafia's cue to tap a hip. Bring a halt to the action, 4-0 Arizona. And we have reached the 10-minute mark here in the second half. Slabaho, lose chaos. It's like an empty penalty box. So 5-on-5 derby. Can't say that we've had that a whole lot. Lose chaos. I don't know how she did it. I don't know. Right through the middle. There were people there too. Lead jammer, Arizona. Whistles start blowing. Penalties are going to be assessed. Arizona loses Coots as a blocker. Hanging out in the sin bin. Looks like Con Artist is coming to the penalty box on a track cut. Lose chaos. Rare penalty there. A track cut called on loose, so we just lost our lead jammer. Power opportunity for Sac City. Slapaho has the helmet cover off, but all the attention is put on Slapaho. So Arizona can buzz around her like a beehive. See if Sac City can negate that by trying to play some offense for her. Gets bumped off just past the jam line and recycles all the way back to turn 3. Lose chaos released from the box, going back in at turn 1. And the pack actually moving that we're at turn 4 when Lose was released, and now they're hanging out about turn 1. Star pass initiated and completed. Con Artist, after serving her penalty, becomes your jammer of record. And for the next 23 seconds, these jammers are going to see what they can do. Lose Chaos gets through for 5. Con Artist through on her initial pass. Lose Chaos pushing at turn 3. Con Artist doing exactly the same thing. And 2 minutes comes to a halt. Arizona is going to tally a couple more points. Looks like a 3 spot now that I see the pinky. I never do seem to see that pinky. 7.5 minutes remaining in the second half. Your score 237-95 in favor of the Tent City Terrors. Sac City wants to take a timeout, regroup, and talk about things. Hope you're comfy at home or wherever you happen to be streaming this. We've got 7.5 minutes, so by all means, let's enjoy the rest of the action here. But after that, sit back, relax, and watch Rocky Mountain square off against Jet City in our other semifinal. I do not have a call on that one, so I'm going to take a seat, hang out with the friends, and watch that action. I will be back on the call tomorrow morning in the house at 9 a.m. I'll be back here on the broadcast at 1 p.m. Naylor Swift jamming for Sac City now that we are back to work. Chocolate, though, finds that outside seam, and Arizona grabs the lead. Jess West, the captain for Arizona, hanging out in the penalty box to be released very, very shortly, but just before she is released, it's going to be Don't Blink who joins her in the penalty box. Naylor Swift through the pack, eligible for points. Chocolate makes one pass, 4 more, and we will skate no more as that quick tap of the hips calls a halt to the action. Whiplash and Stashbot. 4-on-3 pack advantage, Sac City. Whiplash going inside, now pushing through the middle. There is a 3-wall. That 3-wall currently being braced by Lynette Zurich. Devastator trying to help out her jammer. Pays the price of a penalty for it, but it is successful as Whiplash, your lead jammer for Sac City. Stashbot still not through on her initial pass, does just that as I finish saying so. Turn 2 is where that happens. Now Stashbot needs to put that helmet cover back on her head as Whiplash attempts to score, taps the hips. It's going to be 3 points for the skaters from Sacramento, California. You're at the 5.5-minute mark. 2:41.98. Arizona in the lead. West Coast Mafia back to work for the Tent City Terrors. It's going to be Slapaho back out there for the Capital Punishers. West Coast Mafia representing with the lead jammer status. Slapaho still pushing through the middle of the pack. Gets stopped, got to start again. West Coast Mafia riding the momentum, but gets bumped off on the outside part of the backstretch. That one was forced of a call-off. Sometimes the jammer taps those hips because they want to reset. It's a strategy. Sometimes they do so because they have to. Devastator for Sac City doing a fantastic piece of defensive work on the jammer on the backstretch, and that is exactly why that jam comes to a halt. This jam features Luz Chaos, who gets bumped off on the outside part, and Enemy of the State having some success trimming the Arizona defense down, but gets bumped off at turn 2 and has to hop back on behind the defenders. Oh, but Enemy of the State grabs lead jammer just after that. Nice explosive movement to take advantage of the opening created by her blockers. Fast-moving pack around turn 1. Enemy of the State makes the play. We've got a skater shaken up at turn 1. Looks like that's Block and Decker down. All the Arizona skaters are going to rush over there, make sure she's okay. We've got EMTs on the way. There was a big pile up right before the whistles started to blow. With all of the bodies in the way, I could not quite tell what had happened. It looks like something to the face, something to the head. Block and Decker up. That is always a good sign.
Someone had said that.
Alrighty, we are going to make sure Block and Decker gets all the medical attention she needs. She makes her way over to the EMTs. Look to be in pretty good spirits, all things considered. We're going to get everything reset, get everybody into position. After all the chaos that occurred at the end, I can tell you that we have Con Artist in the penalty box for Sac City. I believe she was already there. We're also going to have Coots for Arizona as a blocker. Luz Chaos will start off in the penalty box for Arizona. So when we do get back to work, there's going to be a 3-on-3 pack and a power start for Sac City. The whistle has just blown for the end of the official timeout, although there is some questioning looks that are being exchanged right now. And now we've got our jam timer back out on the pivot line, making the official timeout signal. So coaches converging in center track, having a discussion with our head ref. Now everybody disperses, whistle blows. The end of our timeout is now. Arizona quickly fills the track with their 3 blockers. Sac City brings theirs out. Naylor Swift is going to have that power start for the skaters in blue. 3 minutes, 47 seconds to go. 2:49, 101 is our score. Naylor Swift bumped off very quickly on the inside part by Jess West. And then Naylor Swift on the outside. Lead jammer, Sac City. Jess West called on a penalty. That was a pack destruction. We'll send her off. Naylor Swift with a good move on the outside of turn 1 and then cuts back to the inside of turn 2 but gets bumped off. Luz Chaos released from the penalty box. Jess West standing. As Jess West stands, Annie Rexick joins for Sac City. Naylor Swift bumped off nicely on the inside part of turn 4 by Coots. Luz Chaos makes the pass and eligible for points, and that is why Naylor Swift taps the hips and puts a close to the action. 5 points are going to go up top for Sac City. They're going to win the frame 5-0. 2:49, 106 is your score. 2 minutes and 40 seconds remaining here in the second half. Slapaho Chocolate on the line. Let's see, Arizona has a 4-3 pack advantage as Annie still hanging out in the penalty box. Chocolate bumped off on the outside part just past the jam line. Has to recycle back to get back to work, but recovers very well and grabs the lead status. Slapaho not far behind, maybe 15 feet separating the two jammers as the pack moving very, very quickly around turn 4. Big collision right in front of me. Annie Rexick collided with Calica on the front stretch at the very end. Number 79 for Arizona was not happy about it. Goes to the bench very fiery. 90 seconds remaining in this one. Doesn't look like there's going to be any penalty. It looked like a clean hit from my vantage point. It was right in front of me. But that's not to say that the skater can't take exception to something that happened. Stashbot wearing the star for Arizona. Enemy of the state out there for Sac City. Potentially our final jam of the bout with just over a minute remaining on the game clock. Enemy of the state, lead jammer for the Capital Punishers. Shira going to the box for the skaters from Sacramento. As Stashbot gets through on her initial pass. Enemy of the state makes a pass, taps the hips. It's going to be a 3-0 victory for Sac City. clock continuing to roll. We're going to be under the 30-second mark when the last, potentially the last jam gets rolling. 250 to 110 is our score. West Coast Mafia going back to work for the Tent City Terrors. And it's Whiplash out there for Sac City. Whiplash, inside path, lead jammer, Sac City. West Coast Mafia bumped off on the outside part of turn 1, has to recycle back behind the pivot line. Whiplash gets the signal from her bench. The pack moving extremely fast, especially for this being the final jam of a bout. Whiplash engages, gets bumped off, taps those hips. Sac City's going to win the jam. Looks like it's a 2-0 tally, but overall, Arizona is going to win the war. 250 to 112 is your unofficial final. We will grab the official signal from our officiating staff. But nevertheless, the result will be a victory for the Tent City Terrors. Second impressive performance by them, and they're going to move on to the final at 5 p.m. Mountain Time tomorrow. That whistle makes it official. Arizona packing their bags, getting ready to come back here for day number 3 of BESTERNS 2017. They are going to skate against the winner of the next bout, which will be the Rocky Mountain Roller Girls 5280 Fight Club and the Jet City Roller Girls Bombers. That action starts right here at 8 p.m., so about 20-25 minutes away. My name is Mr. Clitter. It's been an absolute pleasure. I hope you had a good time. Stick with us to watch that semifinal bout coming up in just a few minutes, and we also hope that you hang out with us all day tomorrow because we got 5 more bouts to close out BESTERNS. Thank you all so much for watching. I am going to sign off.